Okay, in the alchemy series, we're working on mastery and we're looking at it in three different levels. So, the innate mastery that has always been in you, that's natural, that comes from the source of you, that's always been there, and how to bring that to the fore and work in it. And then spontaneous universal mastery, that you go to do big work and the mastery flows through you. And you every time it may be different. You don't need to follow any particular techniques or anything. It's just like it takes you somewhere. And then collective mastery, when you're working for the good of the world, for the all, for the universe, for the source, whatever, and you're working collectively, and how collective mastery is so different today. So in our alchemy Zoom call, we were looking at those three levels of mastery. So I thought I would talk about how to live in sustainable mastery, because that's a massive topic and something that we've really been exploring and playing with over the last decade or two. Okay, so I'm going to offer you some, you could call it tips, but you always have to do what's right for you and follow the flow of the moment. But there are things that I've found over the last couple of decades that have really helped me to live sustainably and know myself able to operate with life power, source power, to do the greater work for the world, etc., and how to operate as that sustainably in myself. Okay, so what would some of those things be? Well, first of all, you have to keep your vibrational frequency high, and pretty much all the time. And there is where you tip over a vibrational horizon. Like there's a level of frequency where you go kind of up and down and in and out and et cetera, et cetera. And then there's a moment where you just, you, you tip into a level of sustainable mastery, sustainable beingness. And it's almost like that's a new reality. And in that new reality, it's easy to operate in that way, to sustain your sense of what some people might call confidence about operating in your mastery. But I don't think confidence is quite the right word. It's more like a kind of a sense of an always in the flow, always connected, always a sense of knowing what to do next, even if you don't know what to do. I know that's a bit of a paradox, but you know what I mean. So vibrational frequency really matters. And so do things you love. If you find yourself dropping out for any reason, first of all, don't judge yourself. Never, ever, ever judge yourself for anything, because that will drop you like a stone vibrationally. And really practice on thinking of things you love to let it elevate you, of putting beauty in front of your eyes. Like, when I moved into this apartment, I said, everywhere I look, I want my eyes to drop on beauty. I want it to lift me up and to elevate me. And so art and dragon figurines and color and, whatever. Whatever it is that lights you up. That's for me what was mine, but whatever lights you up. You want to be able to operate in sustainable mastery, in sustainable vibrational frequency all the time. Okay, so that's vibrationally. You want to make sure that you're allowing your being to be present in you. Now, let me just explain that a little bit. Okay, so there's your physical body, and there's the life force that inhabits your physical body. And the life force that inhabits your physical body, I will call that a being, because that life force is more than just you're born, you live, you die. Your life force may have continued through many, many eons of time, or not. It could be brand new as well, but it's much more than just how you know yourself as history, as learning, as expertise, as training, as experiences in life, as your genetics, as your DNA, as your upbringing, as etc. Your being is so much more than that. That's your person or persona, or your human self is defined by those things I just mentioned. Your being is much vaster, much more awesome, much more powerful and masterful than all of that. It may already carry the masteries of many times and many places and many consciousnesses. And when you get your being to inhabit your physicality more, then it really makes a difference. So if your being is not present, you get tired, lethargic. You can when that has happened to me in the past, it hasn't happened for quite some years now, but when it has happened, it's kind of like, oh, nothing matters, It's that kind of lethargy. It takes you over when the life force, the beingness, isn't fully present in your body. So what can you do to call that more present? Well, it's like, open up, call your being, your life force present in your body. And then what I also do is, in addition to my own life force, I connect with the life force, the life energy of the universe. So the limitless life energy of the universe in creation, stars colliding and all of that. So I don't just run on my own personal energy by how much sleep I get, or how much food I get, or how much, how I'm feeling. It's more, I'm in a connected flow of vitality with my being present as well. So I have my life force present, but I have this universal life force also running through me, and that gives me a level of sustainability and capacity that's much more than I think we'd normally experience. Okay, so we talked about vibrational frequency, we talked about your being and your life force. A third one would be operating as a field versus operating as a person. So when you're operating as a field, you're expanded, you're what I call wild open. Not a little bit open, not vulnerably open, not maybe open, It's like in love with life. And you can fake that till you make it, really. You don't have to well, how will I fall in love with life if I'm not? You can just think of something you love, being in some place that you love, walking in the garden, in the woods, on the beach, in the mountains, whatever. Think of something beautiful that you've seen and witnessed and been in, and how different it makes you feel. And it just wild opens you. And then when you're wild open, then you expand your energy, you expand your consciousness, not just your conscious awareness, the consciousness of you, and then you become a field operating versus a person operating. Now here's the difference about that. If you're a person, so here's me as a person, right? Here's a person operating, and I go into an organization or a company or the world or the supermarket or whatever, and here's all the energy swirling that, and all the rules and all the whatever, and it's bigger than me as a person. But if I go in as a field, especially a field of possibility, if I go in as a field, it could be joy, it could be love, it could be the possibility of innovation, it could be whatever. If you go in as a field, then here's the organization or the company or the profession or the supermarket, and here's you as a field, and you're bigger, greater than the energy of that which you would have been walking in as a person. And it makes a huge difference because as a field of possibility, it's like the universe is plugged into you, or you're plugged into it, probably both. And the powers and forces of the universe are available to you to deal with any circumstance in life. And it makes a huge difference. For me, since doing this, I operate as a vast field of possibility. And when I do that, I don't really get tired. I might have days where I take it a little easier and I lay on the couch and watch TV for a while because I don't have that same zip and zing, but I don't take that as a problem, and I haven't lost that core flow of mastery and understanding of myself when I'm doing that because I don't judge it. And so you want to learn to walk as a field. And you could be a field of anything, and you could change that all the time if you wanted to. And you could say, I am a source, I am the universe, I am the dreaming, I am creation, I am origins, I am, every one of us might have a different thing that we orient to, and that may change and evolve all the time, and you just let it fluidly evolve and continue to grow without trying to hang on to anything that currently shapes and defines you. And you kind of seek eagerly for the next quantum leap. You get super curious about life and what it holds, and you let yourself operate as this fluid field of flow and powers and forces of the universe moving through you. And it changes everything, because I'm going to give you a good example of that. So right now, there's a lot of talk in the world about, oh my God, the energy prices, and what are we going to do? And the petrol, gas prices have gone way up, and what are we going to do in the winter here in the Northern Hemisphere when we're having to pay for heat and all that stuff, right? Now, I'm laughing because you won't believe this. This just happened a few minutes ago. So the other day I said to Centaur, what are we paying currently for our electric and gas bills in the house? And he said, £106 a month. We raised it a little bit just to be sure. And he went and checked the bill, and we realized, we're down to zero. We don't owe them any money at the moment. And I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing, for everybody's talking about this fear and stuff of what's coming. So I just went in to talk to him to tell him that the bank had just informed us that they were reducing our monthly fees for the bank accounts that we have. And Centaur said, oh, by the way, it looks like for 6 months this year that the government is going to cap our energy prices at £67 a month. I said, but that's less than we're paying. Like, it's going down, right? He said, yes, that's the plan at the moment. That's what should happen. And I said, well, do we still also get the £250 that each year that the government pays to people in the UK to cover their heating bills? Yes, he said. Oh, so it's dropping, and we're getting £250 to cover heating, right? Yes. Oh, and by the way, I think that I'm about to get an extra £300 on pension. Really? I said. And that's what happens when you operate as a field and you don't buy into what the world is trying to tell you is the true thing right now. It's not like, and I don't give it any attention. Yes, petrol prices have gone up, but they're coming back down a bit, and they should come down more, I believe, and we should switch from petrol, gas, oil to proper, good, environmental energy sources. No doubt about that. I'm all for it. But if I buy into the reality that is presented to me, then it drops my vibration. It creates a concern. And because I am a field, therefore everything that I think and believe and feel ripples the field of all. And so I live in a field of possibility, a field of excitement for the future, a belief in the beauty and brilliance and possibility of us as a world and all the life forms upon it. And so so living in sustainable mastery, you have to be a master source of how the world is showing up, not just for you, but for everyone. You have to realize that as you go, so goes the world. And that doesn't have to be a burdensome weight upon your shoulders or a heavy responsibility. That can be a delightful joy to walk in on a daily basis. So that's a lot of different things I've kind of given you right there to play with. So I think I'll just leave it right there for now as all the possibilities of playing with living in sustainable mastery. So, of course, you will have your own ways. Of course, you should always follow your own paths of mastery. But if any of that's useful for you, I hope that it brings you to a whole new level of play in yourself. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening. Bye.